Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me on another episode of The Mind of Race. I am Race, obviously, so let's just get into it. This week has been kind of a funny week for me. I just been feeling, I think last week I spoke about being like having like epiphany moments and like aha moments where you realize that you do need to take action and move forward, and you feel that like intuitive push to do something. And I finally had inspired action and made a move that inspired me to do, and then ended up with a coaching call with one of my mentors and one of my coaches, and they inspired me even further and are holding me accountable into doing more things. But I also noticed that even though I have a particular direction, and even though I feel like I am getting certain things done, I still feel like there's a bit of a procrastination there. And so today I want to talk about how to basically what procrastination is, why we get into it, and maybe how we can try to avoid it. Like 2 easy steps just to try to avoid procrastinating or to allow us to keep moving forward. And so for myself, I noticed that once I realized, okay, this is the direction I need to go in, and I have, and I'm still learning how to realize that busy work doesn't always mean productivity. And you know what I mean? And that even if I don't have like a massively productive day, like for me, success, or the quote unquote feeling of success of when I feel like I got 100 million things done in one day. Done, actually finished, crossed off the list, done in one day. And that every day is really not feasible. It's really not even a good thing to have in your mind, because I'm constantly chasing after the next done thing, and in order for me to feel accomplished in that day. So I've noticed that whenever where my procrastination comes in too, a lot of times is because I will overthink it. I will put too much on my plate, and when it doesn't get done, I actually mentally berate myself, and then I have analysis paralysis, where I'm overthinking it to the point of like I'm not doing anything because I'm like, I got so much to do. And then right away I'm that personality type that feels like I never have enough time, which is funny because if we look at quantum physics and other, time is an illusion. The only reason why we understand how long a minute is because we have a clock. You know what I mean? So we got to realize that if I had the different mindset, or if I believed in my mind that it wasn't that I had lack of time, because lack mindset will always lead to more lack. Anytime you feel like you have a negative mindset, it's always going to lead to more negativity. Positive mindset will always lead to positivity. Negative mindset will always lead to negativity. So when I think of something, when I think I don't have something, that to me is a negative thing, because that's not necessarily true, because it's a perspective. I don't have enough time. Really, it's like, oh, lack of time, I'm chasing after time. And then not only that, I'm like, I don't have enough time to do all of these crazy things to feel productive, to feel successful, to feel like I'm moving forward in my business. And so the procrastination really it's one of those things where it does start with the mind. And it starts with how you speak to yourself, how you think when you say I can't, which really means I won't. So anytime you're like, well, I can't go to the gym right now because I have to take the kids to school and blah, 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 that actually means I won't go to the gym because it's not that important to me to do so. And that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But the problem with that is that when you, at the end of the day, you're wishing you went to the gym, you feel bad about yourself, you're berating on yourself for it, that's when it becomes a bad thing. That's when it becomes like where it is in your mind to want to do something, and you keep saying you're going to do it, and you don't hold integrity with your word. And I, as a person that does tend to berate myself a lot, at the end of days when I don't feel like I'm accomplishing the things I need to get accomplished in each day in order to move forward, I notice right away that I have a big, like, I know in myself that when one of my, and the way my morals are is that I need to be in integrity with myself at all times. And to be honest, everybody should be in integrity with themselves at all times. I am a woman of my word. I hold my word very, very high. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And if I can't do it, I'm going to let you know right away. And I honestly feel terrible when that happens. I hate not telling someone I'm going to do something and not getting it done. Like that is that's actually probably one of my leading, most driving things to get me to accomplish certain things. So, when I was feeling a little lost, I mean, I think that what's funny is that, I was also talking about this in a couple of previous podcasts, when you're feeling a little lost or you feel like you don't know which direction to go in. It's always funny because we can go two ways with that. We can either accept it and victimize ourselves and be like, well, I'm lost, so I don't know what to do, so I'm not going to do anything. Or we could take that and, decide that we are not going to believe that we're lost. We are not going to victimize ourselves, and we are going to fucking research because, to be honest, in this day and age, feeling like you're lost or you don't know how to get something started, even when you have an idea how to get, or like even when the idea is in your mind, like you're like, I want to be a tattoo artist, but I don't know how to start. That's kind of a little bit of a bullshit move. The problem with people is that, the problem that we have, not with people, the problem that we have, including myself, is that we want instant fucking gratification. And that's funny because it's like, when you think about anything, and if I think about the amount of time, I think I told this story about Picasso in one of my previous podcasts. So I'm going to repeat this story. If you've heard it, you love it, and you're going to hear it again. If not, it's a really good story to live by. It's like, a guy walks up to Picasso while he's drawing at a coffee table, and the guy goes, "Can you draw on this napkin?" And Picasso draws something in 30 seconds, and shows the guy the napkin. The guy goes, "Can I have it?" And Picasso goes, I think he said like $1 million. And he goes, and the other guy was like, "What? That took you 30 seconds to do?" And Picasso's like, "Actually, that took me 30 years to do." Because in all actuality, he worked as an artist for however many years in order to create something that fast at that time. And so we have to realize that at the end of the day, nothing comes overnight. And that's where I find that we find ourselves to procrastinate too, is because we automatically assume that we're just going to get something overnight. And when it's not easy for us, we get into analysis paralysis, we stop what we're doing, we act like we don't know what to do, and that's the problem. So in order for us to get out of that, in order for us to start thinking, because there's two types of people. The people with reasons and the people with results. The people with reasons are the ones that make excuses. They are the victimizers. They're the ones that want to just be like, woe is me. I don't know how to do this. Blah, 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 blah. And this is tough love, you guys. I love you guys. And the reason why I talk like this is because this is the way I actually talk to myself. I am very, the moments that I'm like, woe is me, which I have often. I have them all the time. When I have those moments where I'm like, I don't know what to do, I'm sitting here a little bit like in my own depressive state, and I'm just like, and I allow it, and I will allow it for a day or so, and just like, what, I'm just going to Netflix and chill. I'm not going to do anything today. I'm just going to sit on my butt. I'm not even going to put makeup on. Like, I'm good. But then after that, I don't allow it to go any further than that, because I think that when you allow it to just constantly take over your life and your mind, those are habits. It becomes a habit that when you put yourself in a position to victimize yourself, you're creating a habit. You're creating that habit of like, well, it's okay to victimize myself. It's okay. You know what I mean? It's like you're putting it in your subconscious that this is what I'm going to do, and it's okay to do that. But I'm just going to, I think it's like the talk about it, be about it type of thing. You want to talk about all these goals, but then yet you act like you don't know how to do it. When we have a plethora of resources on figuring most things out. I mean, to be perfectly honest, a lot of the things that are out there today, or the ideas that you have, might have already been done before, and there are ways to figure that out. There's a ton of people, and the internet is amazing. You could look it up. And so, like I said, when you're trying to be a tattoo artist, you know what I mean? Like there are a plethora of things that you could do. Personally, my favorite, my advisable way of becoming a tattoo artist in this industry would be doing it the old-fashioned way, when you go and get a mentor, and you find a mentor that does the style that you really love, and work your ass off for free for a lot of months. Obviously don't get walked on or anything like that, but definitely there are moments in time where you really just need to prove yourself. And that's why we do free tattoos. Like even to this day, I'm 7 years in, and I'm doing I'll do discounted tattoos if I want to do something that I really would really love to showcase. That's not downplaying your worth. It's not, I don't believe that that's downplaying your worth. I don't believe that that's downplaying your, like who you are or what, that kind of thing. I think that at the end of the day, if I want to showcase something that I know I'm going to be really good at and it's going to really, really help me shine, especially in the online world and especially through my Instagram portfolio, like I'm going to do it. And I don't care if I have to do it for free. You guys got to understand, like, I've done a lot of things. I have no shame. I have no shame. I don't care if I've got to reap. People are so, it's like, and I'm kind of veering off the procrastination here, but I'm very passionate about this. People online make you feel like you can't say certain things, you can't do certain things. And at the end of the day, what do you want to do? What do you want to say? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, in all positive light, please don't. Negativity just rears more negativity, and who fucking wants that? No, if you're going to put out some positive, inspirational shit, or like for me, like for instance, people are always like, wow, I've heard this from many tattoo artists actually, where they're like, I don't want to post that I have days open. Why? Oh, because it makes it seem like I have days open. Well, like, because you have fucking days open. Who cares if you don't have work? Who cares if you're showcasing the fact that, oh my God, people cancel on me. People cancel on me all the fucking time. Actually, in the last 2 months, I truly, truly believe that the universe was trying to teach me a lesson in lack because of the fact that I have never had so many cancellations in my career at all consecutively at the same time. And there was a moment where I had a little bit of a freak out. I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean? And then I started taking it personal. And then when you take it personal and you can't let that shit go, then we feed off of it. And that's the only thing we think about. And then we can't move forward into doing the things we want to do. Instead of just letting it go and being like, whatever, thank you for canceling on me, because then it allowed me to work on these designs that I wanted to work on in the first place. But I keep saying, quote unquote, I don't have time. And now the universe has given me the time to go work on these other side projects that I've been trying to work on, to go working on opening this tattoo shop in the city of Carlsbad, to work on my courses and my business for Instagram building, and to work on my coaching business that and inspiring and motivating people, and constantly, and so it's like, in all actuality, there's always a positive when something like this happens. So, veering back into the procrastination part of it, there's always something that we can do to move forward. And it doesn't have to be, this is I'm going to veer backwards a little bit because I don't want to get off topic, because I was really, the procrastination really had brought up a lot of things in people, and especially on social media, where people are asking me a lot of questions about keeping on track and keeping away from the procrastination. And once you've envisioned your dream, like, how do you keep moving and from there and keep moving forward? So procrastination. So what it means is basically like, you have lack of vision, you have lack of reasons why, and you have lack of discipline. So the discipline part is what I was talking about prior, is like that lack of discipline, that excuse making generator that we all have in our minds, that our ego constantly is telling us that we don't have this or we don't have that. And really what we do have all of those things. Lack mindset is having enough, like when you think you don't have something, that's just an illusion. When people are like, I don't have money, Tony Robbins says it best. It's not about the resources. It's not about what resources you have. It's about oh gosh, I forgot how he said it. He's like, it's not about the resources. It's about the resourcefulness. And so how resourceful will you be, and how deep and honest is that goal for you, that you are willing to do practically anything? And I'm talking about, like, we can sell shit. Like, it's like, oh, I want to make more money. How do I bring more money into my life? Well, there's so many ways, and there's so many things to think about. Like, we don't even think about the times when, when we think about an abundant lifestyle, we don't even think about the times when, like, someone buys you a coffee. That's $5 I didn't have to spend. To me, that's a lot of money, because I love my coffee. That means a lot to me. So it's like, we got to think about those other ways of how we're actually creating money into our lives and how we're actually gaining more things. So that's like the resourcefulness. That's resourceful. So we got to think about that. when that comes to discipline and everything. And so procrastination with the lack of vision, it's like, what do you want? So vision is basically your goal. You want to create your goal and you want to create it specifically. Specificity is a big, big thing. I was talking about goal setting the other week. I think it was like episode 5 or so. And its specificity is key. When you want your vision, write it down. I told you, writing it down really just holds your vision clear. And basically, so this is like your ending goal. You're like, I want to become a fucking tattoo artist. I want to be this style of tattoo artist. I am a realism tattoo artist. I am a color realism tattoo artist. I am going to create this goal. How? You don't really actually need to know the how, because that actually comes by action. When you take one step forward, another step, another door opens or another window opens, and you're like, wow, I just need to take that step. So taking your end result and looking at the vision and really, really figuring out what that vision is and writing it down and being specific about it, that's your vision. So if you have lack of vision, this is the reason why we procrastinate. But if you have a good vision, then you know. The next one is the lack of reason why. So if we don't have a reason why we're doing something, we are going to procrastinate. We are going to make the excuses on why we can't do it. And at the beginning of this podcast, I was mentioning that, we make those excuses on why we're not doing something. So, it's like, I can't, I won't. So when you change those words, when I say I can't do something, you just change that whole sentence around, say I won't do it, and then rehear it for yourself and think if that goal is for you. But the lack of reason why, it's like with this, it's like, let me go back to lack of vision. So when you're thinking about your vision and you think about what you want, and sometimes people don't know what they want. So this can go out to people. They're like, well, fuck, like, I don't know what I want to do. And, so it's like, you can go work backwards and you could say, well, what don't I want? I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job anymore. I don't want to have to, be employed by someone else. When I think of myself as an entrepreneur. I'm telling all tattoo artists out there, you should all be thinking this way. And if you're not, that's okay. If that's not your style, that's not your style. But to me, I'm always trying to grow in my business. I'm always trying to do more. I'm always trying to help more. I'm always trying to impact more. That is giving me that, like, right there already is giving me like that mindset of like, okay, those are the things. And then I'm all of a sudden turning it around and saying what I do want. So I don't want to work a 9-to-5 job. I don't want to have to listen to anybody else but myself. And then all of a sudden I start changing it. I do want to make my own hours. I do want the freedom to create what I want to create. I do want to do my own style, and then that's when you start figuring out your vision, and then you start creating your reasons why. So when you have your vision and you have your reason why, you're already 2 steps ahead, where all you need now is the discipline. But when you have a reason why, the reasons why should be really, really like constant. So you have to constantly be telling yourself why you're doing it. Because if you don't have a why, you're not going to do it, or you're going to get mad at yourself for procrastinating on the things that you need to be doing. Like for me, it was, for instance, I had put it in my mind that as a tattoo artist, I was going to start creating my tattoos days prior. I was always taught that you create your tattoo the day before. And trust me, I still do it. Don't get me wrong. I like creating the day before. It makes me feel good. But sometimes I've noticed that if I spent an extra day, if I did it a day and a half prior, so 2 nights before my tattoo comes up, I notice that my mind starts to create in different ways. So I create a foundation 2 days before my tattoo. And then the night before my tattoo, I re-go over that foundation, and then my mind's already turning like, whoa, I could do this, this, and this. And for me, I created this vision in my mind that I want to do only realism tattooing with, with additives of geometry and watercolor. So, dot work and watercolor. And I really, really love that style because it speaks to me. And that's something I want to do only. And so I decided that I was only going to do that. So that was my vision. And then my reasons why And so I knew that there was my vision. So the goal, in order for me to do this, I knew I had to start earlier on my designs, but I kept saying I didn't have the time. So what I did was I was like, I'm going to create the time because this means so much to me and in my business that I'm going to create the time. I'm going to change my relationship with time. I'm going to say, instead of I don't have enough time, I have plenty of time. So then I'm already pushing that lack mindset out of my brain and not even allowing it to affect me. And then now I'm like, okay, now I'm going to create a day and a half before. I'm going to do this, and I'm staying integrity, and I'm staying in integrity with my word, because as a woman of my word, I hold myself to a high degree when I do that. And so I had my vision of making sure that I was the goal was to create only these style of pieces, and the way I was going to do that. And so I was like, oh, how am I going to do that? Okay, well, if I started earlier, maybe that might help. And when I realized that if I started my foundation early, then it would help me create a little bit better. So, and then the reason why do I want to do this? Because I only want to do this style of art. And the only way that I'm going to be able to do that is to constantly create, a little bit more room for creation instead of trying to do it the night before and then doing it day of. Now, everybody's different. We all create the way we want to create. For me personally, if I'm going to habitually create this style in my mind, my own style in my mind, then what I need to do is I need to create sooner. Now, over time, don't get me wrong, I've done a lot of tattoos where I can just pop that information in my mind and I'm good. Trust me. Okay, so it doesn't happen overnight. When I first started tattooing, it took me like a week to create anything. And I'm talking about like simple, easy, traditional shit, because I just didn't want to just trace so much. And so I really, really wanted to hone a skill of just being able to draw. And so now, like, it took me 6 or 7 tries to draw a traditional rose. Now I can draw it on a person, on their actual body, and it'd be done. But that takes time. It takes 7 years. So I'm creating a new habit, a new way of thinking for myself in order to accomplish this goal. And the reason why I'm doing it is because I see the success in it. My reason behind it is like, I want to push this artwork more. I want more people to see this style from me. I feel better when I do this style. It makes me feel good. So how do I keep doing it? I got to create it earlier. So there's the vision and there's the reason why. And sometimes like the reason why, it's like when I want to impact people, it's like creating this podcast, for instance. Like I'm holding myself in integrity every week that I post this every Wednesday, and even if it only helped one person and one person listened to it, that's one person that I helped, and that's a reason why for me. It's a reason why for me to motivate. It's a reason why for me to want to help people at all. I want to help you motivate. I want you guys to see the potential that you have in yourselves. You guys can do anything. I say this all the time. Please, my podcast, listen to them. It's all motivational. But if you can do anything, if you put your mind to it. But I'm trying to help you with the steps on how to put your mind to it, because I think that we all do get a little lost and we all do have a little trouble. And, and for me, I've had so many trial and errors of how to stay positive and how to keep motivated and then to move forward in my business utilizing these mindsets and this psychology that I've realized that like I would like to make this easier for other people to understand. And I would like to take my trial and error and my experiences and help you understand how to do this. So you have with procrastination, if you don't have a goal or a vision, you're going to procrastinate your whatever you've got to do. If you don't have a reason why and a good one, you're going to procrastinate what you got to do. And another reason why, guys, it's like I had another person DM me the other day who was describing to me that they wanted to become an artist, a full-time artist, yet they didn't want to lose their full-time job, which I understand, and because they wanted the stability for their kids, and that is not an excuse. That is a very, very good reason. But I did challenge him and say, I'm like, well, let's think of it this way. Is there a way that we can, because we do have enough time. If we want to create art and we have a full-time job, I had 2 full-time jobs. I've had a full-time job, went to school full-time, and still was a fine artist at night, and hawked my wares in every place in LA that I could. So when people tell me that they don't have enough time, I will challenge you all day, every day on that. And I even challenge myself constantly on that whenever I give myself the excuse that I don't have time. It's like I don't want to make the time. So I did challenge him on the timing. We all have full-time jobs. We all have full-time kids. We all have full-time responsibilities, and I'm not downplaying that at all whatsoever. I love you all out there that do this, but I have many, 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 many examples to where I've seen single parents handle children, create a business from the ground up, and fucking make multi-million dollars off of it. I'm just saying. So if they can do it, you can do it. We are all the fucking same. I get it. People want to talk about, being God's little snowflake. We are very unique, but we are all just people. We are very unique, but we're all just people. It's not anything like I'm a human, you're a human. We all could do the same thing. I'm no different than you. I'm not more and nothing. That's not even in there. But it's just one of those things of where your mind is. How you speak to yourself, how you think, how you train your mind is how you're going to move forward in this world. Period. I don't, you know what I mean? And you could tell me anything you want to say. And I'm very understanding of most things and very compassionate about it. But I also want to challenge you to say, is there really no time, or is there really no money, or is there really, you know what I mean? Like I said before, it's not about the resource, it's about the resourcefulness. And so Tony Robbins said that actually. So with that being said, you have like the reason why, and the reason why you do something, and going back to this story was that I challenged him on his time, and I also challenged him, and I was like, well, what do you want your daughter to know? That you wanted just to stay safe, that she shouldn't go after her dreams, that she shouldn't go big or go home kind of thing. Like what kind of example are you setting for her? And that's where it hit his pain point. That actually ended up being a reason why. And I'm not sure what he's doing now, but I know that he's definitely working much harder towards, going through that art goal and figuring it out, And so that's where I think that we really need to focus on the reasons why. It could be the kids, even though you could say one thing, well, I'm not doing this because of my kids, where it's like, well, maybe you should do it because of your kids. We want to set an example. And the best way to set an example, let me tell you, it's like the best way to set an example is like, if you want to influence change, you have to change yourself. So for me, I realized that, my goal in life, it's like I want to help people. I want to inspire people. And in order for me to do that is that I have to inspire myself. I have to put my money where my mouth is, I have to put skin in the game. I have to take these steps. I study a lot. And it's not just, I do it for myself because I love it. I love it so, so much. But I just love that feeling of being able to help someone else, or someone just literally sending me a DM and just being like, that was so helpful. Thank you so much for this. And I'm like, that's the reason why I'm doing this. And there's my reason. So, you have to have your vision. You have to have your reason in order not to procrastinate. Now, so if we don't have those things, we're going to procrastinate. We're going to find some excuse as to why we can't do something. And so that's where, if I'm going to just break it down for you and just kind of put it into a little bit of a formula for you, this is where I think that we can really just put it like almost like in a more tangible way, instead of just saying, excuses and things like that. As far as like lack of discipline, the reason why I think a lot of people have a hard time getting things done during the week, and I was talking about this earlier in the beginning of the podcast, where I was like, I will analysis paralysis. Like I'll overthink something to the point of where I'm just sitting there like a duck, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And then I start kind of going down a downward spiral of overthinking, and so I'm not. It's. The thing is that about discipline is that what we need to do is, in order for us to stay disciplined in something, we need to do it every day. We need to create the habit. So it's like, for me, working out, if you guys watch me on my stories and Instagram and everything like that, you guys see that I work out every fucking day. Every fucking day. 6 days a week practically, but I'm always in movement every single day. And the reason why it's so easy for me now is because I've created a habit of it. It's in my subconscious to just not even think. I just get up, I get into my workout clothes, I grab my keys, I go to my car, I get to the gym, I hop on, whatever treadmill or whatever thing on for like 5 minutes, and then I get going with my actual like workout. And so I've created that habit, and I'm telling you, it's difficult. Like, even if I have like a week off, it's so hard to get back on top of it. But then the reason why, and then here we go with the reason why, and it's like there's the vision of getting a nicer body, of feeling good inside my body, of feeling healthy. It's funny for me, like I feel things so intensely when it comes to my body. So if I'm not feeding myself right, I don't feel right. And if I don't feel right, my mind doesn't feel right. And I don't think straight. And then I start getting overwhelmed and overthinking and anxiety and this and that. So that's the reason why I stay so disciplined, because I don't like feeling like that. So that's something I don't want. So what I do want is to feel good. And so the discipline part comes to a point where people are automatically going to look at me and be like, oh, well, I can't do that. I can't wake up at 4:30 in the morning and put on my gym clothes and have the wherewithal to stay at the gym for an hour and 15 minutes. So that's the point where we put, the problem I think a lot of us have is that we businesses aren't built on huge accomplishments. Like, that's what I'm just looking at my notes. Businesses aren't built on huge accomplishments, or any goal is not built on huge accomplishments. Like, I am definitely the kind of person that's like, if I haven't checked off this to-do list, I've failed. And that's a terrible way of thinking. Now, when I catch myself doing something like that, I definitely have to go back and I have to rebuild. And usually what I do is I'll take my gratitude journal, which I have made it a goal of mine for 2020 that I will write 5 things of gratitude every single day for 2020 this year. And I have not missed a day yet. And I'm very proud of myself so far, because it is definitely hard, but it only takes 5 minutes for me. But I've made it a point, and I'm going to stay integrity with my word. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll either reread those, or I'll go back into it if I'm berating myself for not accomplishing something. So the way that we can build discipline, the way that we can build habits, is that we do something every fucking day, and we just take one thing. It doesn't have to be a billion things. It could be one thing that we are like, I'm going to do this every day. I'm not going to stop. And that's where it goes to my gratitude journal, where I'm going to do this every single day to, raise my vibration, raise my energy, have a happy mindset to start my day. I love it. I love doing that for the beginning of my day, is to write in my gratitude journal. And it could be of anything. It doesn't have to be anything, but that's for me. Now for you, it could be 15, not even, it could be 5 fucking minutes at the gym, walking around the block. You know what I mean? Just moving in a certain way. Or it could be 5 minutes of drawing on something that's not for work. So for me as a tattoo artist, I know a lot of times a lot of people don't want to do art outside of that. There are those people that, that's their whole life. For me, tattooing is my art form. I personally love to draw outside of that, but I find that sometimes I don't feel as motivated to do that. And so when I don't feel motivated to do it, obviously I'm procrastinating my drawings or something like that. And that's okay. If it's not a goal of mine to get that finished, it's okay. But if it is a goal of mine to get something finished, then what I do is okay, I'm going to set aside 5 fucking minutes of my day to focus only on this thing. And I'm not going to allow any outside forces to give me the excuse that I can't do it. So what do? I turn off my phone. I don't I personally, it's so funny. People always ask me, they're like, you're very, very relevant on social media. And I'm like, listen, I'm a set it and forget it kind of gal. I batch my content for the beginning of each week. I batch my content. Excuse me, I just burped. That was lovely. I batch my content. And then what I do is I have it set in a timer to where it goes up when I want it to go up, when I want things to go up. The only thing I do a lot with is I utilize my stories, because stories are a very good way to get on social media, but I don't scroll. And so for me, it's like, I do my best not to scroll. How about that? Because I don't want to say I don't do anything. So I eliminate that. I don't have any notifications on my phone. I don't look at emails or anything like that. That's it. I don't have that show up on my phone at all. The only time that I have that show up is when I've set aside time to where I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to answer emails, or I'm going to look at social media to make sure that all of my stuff is getting put up correctly. And, I'm going to put the story on and blah, blah, blah. So I eliminate the ways of to get out of like the excuse part of it. And then I spend the time to do it. And I think that that's where we all have the issue is we give ourselves the excuses that we don't have time, when really, like, can we count the amount of hours or minutes that we spend on social media a day, or how many minutes we spend on watching Netflix a night? You know what I mean? We can compound that number. And actually, I have a really, really amazing little chart here that says it actually exactly. It says like today's unconscious cost. So it's like 30 minutes a day dicking around on your phone, like we're dicking around on your phone, is 182.5 hours in a year, which is 22 full 8-hour work days. 30 minutes a day on our phones, just dicking around on our phones. Just 30 minutes. And I know a lot of us do a lot more than that shit. That's 182 hours in a year. That's 22 full work days. That's almost a full month of 8-hour days. Just 30 minutes a day. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? And in those 30 minutes a day, what could I do? I could go to the gym. I could work towards my business. I could write something else down. So like, we got to realize that like we have the discipline we just need to rearrange and reevaluate and realize like there are certain things during our days that we make excuses for that we can't do because of time and our relationship with time, that we really don't see like what we're actually doing. So it's funny, I've actually calculated the things that I do in a day, and I'm like, dang. I could actually do a lot more if I really wanted to. Now, I'm not saying like I have a massive hustler's mentality, but I also have this mentality that it's not about doing a bajillion things in one day, because that is not sustainable. We cannot constantly do something like that all the time, every day, every single day, that kind of thing. We do need self-love, self-care kind of time. So what I mean by creating the discipline, well, first is understanding your excuses and realizing how false they are. And then making those excuses weak and eliminating those excuses from your life. And then that's where you can create the discipline. So it's like most people are like a lack of time, lack of money. Lack of time, easy to get rid of. There's no way. Everybody's got fucking time. We all got time. Like if you think in that moment that I've got enough time, I'm going to have enough time. If I think in the moment that I don't have enough time, I'm not going to have enough time. Period. It's just your thoughts. It's the way you think. Your thought process is everything. Your thoughts are everything. Your mind is everything. So that's why when, like sometimes like with my students or my coaching clients, when they're like, I just don't have enough time, I'm like, well, let's go over what you do during a day. And then let's see where we can eliminate this illusion of where I don't have time. And then when you kind of break it down into layman's terms and you start like giving them actual like, like the actual amount of time that they spend doing certain things, they're like, holy shit. I did it. I was like, holy shit. I spent a lot of time doing stupid shit. I mean, like, I spent a lot of time digging around. So, I mean, that's just one thing. It's like you spend 60 minutes a day on the news, email, or celebrity gossip. I know a lot of people. I mean, when I was 19, I remember the first thing I did a day in my corporate job was to look at Perez Hilton. I remember that. That was like so long ago. And that's so a shame. I'm so ashamed. Oh man, I'm sorry guys out there. And I know we all do it. So it's like there, and that's 365 hours a year. An hour a day looking at gossip or news or watching CNN or something like that. That's 365 hours a year, which is 45 full 8-hour work days. Yikes, 45. You know what you could do in 45 8-hour work days? So much fucking shit. so much shit. Like I can't even comprehend that. So if I had spent, so now I don't do news or gossip. I stay very away from videos because I know how easily I can get sucked into that. And instead I challenge myself to read more, to educate more, to get certain things that I need to get done that week. So like, let's put it into perspective here. Like what the excuses we're making, especially with time, and how we can eliminate that. So we have these moments of procrastination, and I know definitely for me, I do have a problem with saying like I don't have enough time. And so once I eliminate that from my mind and from the fact that that's not true, that's not true. That's just a story I tell myself every day to give myself the excuse and to basically just validate myself for being so busy and whatever, and whatever nonsense. So I do have enough time. And then I can create, then at that point, because I already have the vision and I already have the reasons why, maybe those reasons why aren't very good. So maybe I have to reevaluate that. But if I have the vision and the reasons why, I just got to create the discipline. And the discipline I know is the hardest because it's the actual action taking. And a lot of people don't have they don't have like the will to action take because they've created excuses for themselves. So I've eliminated some of those for you, especially about time. And then I'm going to tell you that, you guys, it's discipline is just little things. It's just the little things. Like for me, it doesn't have to be, oh, I got to create this whole website in one day. Oh my God, that would fucking debilitate me. That would debilitate me. So what do I do? It's like, how about I create the About Me page today? I just have to get the copy. I just have to get the words, what is it about me that I want people to know in my About Me page? Just that. That's it. That's one thing off my list. And then if I did that every day, I turned off my phone. I turned off all this stuff. I decided that I wasn't going to spend 30 minutes on social media. I took that 30 minutes every single day to work on copy for each page on my website. All of a sudden, I have a whole fucking website in 5-6 days. Out of nowhere. Because I've separated into manageable goals in 1 week that I've already like, okay, instead of saying to myself, when I tell people to batch their content, take time off on a Monday to batch their content, I'm saying, for me, it's because I've been doing it for so long that it's easy for me. But at the beginning, what did I have to do? I was like, okay, I'm going to create 2 pieces of content every other day so that I have an extra piece of content for the next day so I don't have to worry about it for the next day. So what was I doing? I was creating 2 pieces of content Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. That's what I was doing. 2 pieces. That's all. And even you can go even a little smaller than that. I'm going to create 1 piece of content every single day. And I'm not talking about a permanent thing and plus all this other stuff. I'm saying like, let me make a post on social media via my story. Let me make 1 permanent post talking about something that fills me up and lights me up and inspires me on my story or on my permanent portfolio. And so it's like those things like what's funny is like all of a sudden you do that and then you're like, okay, let me try to do 1 more. And then 1 more. And then once it becomes like a habit, you guys, it becomes so easy. And you don't even think about it. It becomes from conscious thinking to subconscious thinking. When subconscious thinking, it just means that you're not thinking at all. It's just habit at this point. And so now it's like working out for me. I get up. It took me a long time to, and in this year, in 2019, I told myself, because I think in 2018, I was waking up around 7 o'clock every morning to go work out. And working out till like 8:30, didn't get done till 9 because I showered and then I had to eat. So 9:30, I was kind of done with my like morning rituals for myself, for my self-love, for my health. And then 9:30 rolls around and I'm like, well, shit, I've got an hour to do whatever I want to do, which is usually goes towards my business or towards my businesses. And that personally wasn't enough time for me. I love doing things in the morning. I'm a morning person. After a tattoo, I don't want to do anything else after that. So if I'm going to do stuff like, okay, I only have an hour to create the tattoo for 2 days from now, or start it, and that's, it takes us 10 minutes just to get focused on something, guys. So like when something breaks our focus, that's why I say remove the fucking notifications off your phone. or don't watch the television, or find time for yourself, even if it is just 1 hour a day, to have consistent quiet of no distractions, because it does take 10 minutes in order to focus on something. So when something distracts us, it takes us another 10 minutes to get refocused. So 4 notifications go off. You're talking about fucking 40 minutes of your life, and you've only spent 20 minutes actually doing the things that you wanted to do or focus on the thing you wanted to focus on. So that's crazy, right? It's crazy, but that's science. It's science. You've looked that shit up. Look it up on Google. How long it takes you to get to refocus or to focus on something. 10 minutes. It takes you 10 minutes. So you're talking about 40 minutes out of your hour from distractions. Now, don't get me wrong, kids and stuff like that, it is hard. But when the kids go to school, is there a time that we can find for you in order for you to spend some time doing the other things you want to do, to creating the new business you want to create, to drawing more, to painting more, to, I don't know, anything that you want to do, to being outside more, to exercise more, all those things, you guys, we can find it. There are ways to find it. I can help you find that. That's fine. And then we create the discipline by doing the small things. So once we found our vision, we have our reasons, and we created our discipline. The discipline really is the most important one, because once we find once the discipline's already there and we're already moving, it's like the momentum is already going, then it just kind of just goes and goes and goes. Like it doesn't, it's like for me now, I like I said before, I was waking up at 7. I only had an hour. And so I promised myself in 2019 that I was going to wake up at 4:30 in the fucking morning and go to the gym. I give myself a 30-minute window to wake up. So it's like 4:30, my alarm goes off. I snooze maybe twice. So I have two 5-minute snoozes, and then I get up and I'm like, okay, well, let's get moving. So brush my teeth, put my clothes on, get to the gym, And a lot of times I don't even take pre-workout anymore. I used to have to take pre-workout. Now I don't, because I listen to my body, and my body was like, listen, Reese, we don't need to be any more hyper than we are. You don't need to create a habit out of taking pre-workout. Only take it when you need to. And so I no longer take pre-workout for that, but I did in the beginning. And it was really tough. Trust me, 4:30 in the morning to 7 in the morning is a big fucking difference. But you know what I had to do? I had to start going to bed earlier. I actually stopped partying. I started partying a lot less. You know what I mean? Like I wasn't going out so much because it was so important to me. And I gave myself the goal and the reason why. And the goal was I wanted a bigger butt. And I wanted to have more time for myself and for my day in the mornings to work on my businesses. So 2 things. There's 2 good reasons. I do to this day have a cute little patootie. And I have more time for my businesses. And I've created a habit. I cannot not wake up at 4:30. I don't care where I am at. I don't care if I'm traveling. I don't care. Like, if I'm traveling, I give myself a little bit more leeway. Sometimes 6 o'clock is about the round time when if it's jet lag and stuff like that. But I'll tell you, man, like, if I'm waking up anywhere, I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning, Okay. It's just ingrained into me where I don't even need the alarm anymore. I'm just like, bink, okay, like it's time to get going. It's time to get ready to go. Let's go. So I'm telling you, it takes time to create the habit. And once you've created the habit, it's subconscious. And once it's subconscious, then it just happens. And it's not even a discipline. It's just there. And now I do it every day. And then the way to keep going is that I create new goals and I create new visions. And to be honest, it inspires me. You guys inspire me. Like every day I get goals, I get messages from you guys. You guys are, oh, you're so motivating to wake up so early. And I'm like, I'm glad. That makes me happy. That's why I post. And I also have to say, don't watch your phone while you're working out. It's the worst thing to do. That's not going to help you. Stay away from your phone. I always turn it off. I'm like, no notifications. I like to create before I consume. So what I mean by that is that like I'm creating a new body for myself before I consume. So like before I even post anything on social media, it's after my workout's done. Like I've not looked at my phone or anything like that. It's always first. Like my first things first is getting my workout done, and then I post after that. But yeah. So okay, so that's kind of like the idea behind the procrastination. It's the lack of vision, the lack of reason why, and the lack of discipline. Those 3 things will constantly keep us in the procrastination zone, the zone where we're just like, I don't know, like acting like I don't know what to do kind of thing. And then I've also kind of like told you about how to kind of get out of that. So I've created how we create the vision, how we create the reasons why and how we create the discipline for us. So the 2 ways that we can kind of help stop procrastination. I actually heard this in a book somewhere, and I forget the name of it, but it's so constantly we're humans that like to basically we either, what does it do? We do more to avoid pain than we do to actually go towards pleasure. And so that's so funny, right? Like we do more to avoid pain. So like the reasons why we don't do certain things is because either we don't see the end result. That's lack of vision. And so we're afraid of the unknown. So that's why we're like, I'm going to stay in my bubble. And that's because I'm trying to avoid pain. Then I'm trying to get to pleasure because I know that pleasure is beyond the pain. And so 2 ways to help stop the procrastination is to give yourself like a reward system. I like the reward system for me. I've actually done more of it for me because my coaches and my mentors have told me over time, like, Reese, you need to write down the things that you do in a day. Don't write the lists because you've already got the list in your mind. I'm a list person in my mind. Like there's so many things going on that I like to check boxes off. But then if I write that list down for a day and I don't get it all done, then I feel failed. So instead what I do is I already know what I need to do in a day. I already know that. I don't need to create the list. It's already in my brain. What I do need to do is write down what I got done off that list. So what helped me realize that I was accomplishing so much was that I was like, okay, finances, do your finances. And if I did my finances, I would write finances down in my little planner and then I would check it off the box. Okay, write content for the next week. If I did write the content that day, okay, I checked it off the box. But if there was something in my mind that I didn't do, I didn't write it down because I know that it's already going to be in there bothering me a little bit. But if I write it down, then it makes me feel like I didn't get it done. Now, what I do is I only write down the things that I do get done, and then I look back and see all the things that I've accomplished in moving more towards my goal. And I'm like, whoa, I've actually done so much more than I thought. First off, in the amount of time that I thought that I didn't have time to do it in. Second off, so there's that punch against the against the wall of like that illusion of not having time. And then I'm already showing myself all the little things that I've done that day. So those are a big accomplishment. So it's like so I give myself a reward system. So it's like, for me, it's like, cool, if I get this thing done today, just this one thing, it only has to be one thing, guys. One thing that's going towards your goal. One thing. You want to become a tattoo artist? What do you have to do? What's the first thing you think of? I got to draw more. Okay. So if I draw one thing every single fucking day that lights me up, that the style that I want to do, one thing every day, right there, I get a reward. Give yourself a reward. Personally, for me, it's sweets. I love sweets. Like, I love cookies, especially if I can find some really good vegan cookies, vegan brownies, that kind of stuff. There's a place called Choice down the street from me. They make these protein vegan brownies. Oh, so good. So good. Or going out to dinner. I love going out to dinner. I think I kind of give myself the excuse that going out to dinner kills 2 birds with 1 stone. It's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm networking and I get to eat good food. So, because a lot of times if I go out, I'm talking to people and they're always asking me about tattoos because I don't know why. I'm not heavily tattooed or anything. So there's like, I always feel like even if I go out to eat, which I always told myself I wasn't allowed to save money, which is fine. I think if that's a goal for you, then that's a goal for you. But every time when I do allow myself to go out there and go out, get something to eat, I get something really nice and vegan, of course, and then that's like my reward. So always create a reward for anything you do. It doesn't have to be something huge, you guys. It doesn't have to be like you fucking saved the world or you made 1 million fucking followers on Instagram or, you finally made that 20,000 a year goal for some business that you made. Like it can be just the step. It could just be the fact that I fucking got in my car to go work out. Like, that's a big deal because it's a big deal. Like, especially if it's not already ingrained and disciplined into your mind to do that, like, it's a big deal. You got up. You're like, I'm going to wake up 30 minutes earlier today in order to get to the gym 30 minutes earlier so I can have 30 minutes more time to myself. Okay. You woke up 30 minutes earlier. Holy shit, you literally moved yourself outside the bed. You literally you didn't give you the excuse, oh, it's so much warmer to be in these covers. It's so much warmer to be here right next to my husband, blah, 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 blah. Like, there are ways to when you do that, give yourself a reward, and I would say anything that you want. Like, even if it's just something small. Personally, I love massages too. Like, I'll go get a massage. I have a lady that does it for $45 hand massages. I'm like, yeah, give me a handy, please. Sorry, that sounded gross. Give me a handy. But yeah, I mean, like, I love hand massages. So it's like, give me some of that. Or that's the one way to do it. And it could be for anything, guys. Don't make it such a huge deal. One small step towards anything is great. I'm telling you, like, it took me 7 years to get to where I am today because I took small steps every single day to keep moving forward and to keep reaching for my goals. And it didn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. I've been working out for, oh my gosh, I've been so athletic since I was 12. Like, you guys, it doesn't happen overnight. And even to this day, I fall back. And even to this day, I have to get back up on that horse and remotivate and that kind of thing. So that's one way, is a reward system, is giving yourself something pleasure. Or giving yourself like a reward or something that you might want, for accomplishing that small step forward. Now, also, if it's like just getting the one thing done that day, for me, it's also like, how about we take away something too? If we don't reach your goal, what can I take away? So a lot of times when I love doing is like, so the place I go to a lot is called the Wrench and Rodent, and they do vegan sushi, and I love them so much because they know me. And I always go with this guy. His name is Michael, and he's like a super regular. He like volunteers his time just to like help out in the kitchen. Super rad guy. Like, and I met him once when I went out to dinner by myself, and I was just like, okay, we're going to make this a thing every week. And now, so if I don't get the thing I need to accomplish that day done, I hate canceling on him. It breaks my motherfucking heart. It really, really does. So if I don't get something done the day that I'm supposed to, like, or that day, I tell myself I have to cancel on him. And that hurts me. Like, it's painful. That's painful. I want to stay in integrity with my word. I want to go, to the Wrench and Rodent once a week to be able to get my vegan sushi on and have good conversation. Like, I want that. You know what I mean? And I love that. It's my favorite thing. It's one of my favorite things to do of the week. And I'm like, so that's like a painful thing for me to have to do. And I hate it because I can feel it through a text message when I do have to cancel on him because I didn't get everything done I needed to that day, or I didn't get that one thing done I needed to that day because I got distracted, or I allowed myself to feel, let things get in my way, because it's not about the time. Some things can come up, but I know that I've had plenty of time to get the one thing done that I needed to get done, and I didn't do it. And so, I cancel on him, and it makes me sad. So that's one way to kind of receive a little bit of like, I guess you could say pain in that direction. It's like taking away the reward. It's kind of like holding yourself accountable. Like, I always find that I have an accountability buddy. I put that on Jack. Jackie, you guys all know who Jackie is, my apprentice. She, I tell her, I'm like, hey, I need to do this 1 hour every single day, no questions asked, blah, blah, blah. And you know what she does every morning? Have you done this? Have you done this? And she can be very annoying. And I'm like, yes, I've done it. But it's like, but I know I don't want to have to tell her, no, I didn't. Because I know that she's going to be like, well, why didn't you do it? And I'm going to be like, wah. So find someone that can help you. That's also another way to help you like stay on track and that kind of thing. But, wow, I didn't expect this podcast to be so long. So I really, really hope that you guys found some good insight on how not to procrastinate, how to eliminate the excuses, and to basically kind of reward yourself for getting up and getting going. I'm so proud of all of you guys, and thank you so much for listening to my podcast. I hope that you guys love it. Please share, tag me and everything. I love the comments. I love everything. You guys are really, really, it makes me so happy to do this for you every week. Like, today I was cutting it down to the wire. It's Tuesday, and I usually try to get this done the week before, but I again had procrastinated a bit because I wasn't sure on my topic, and then it hit me that to just talk about something that's about my life. And right now procrastination has been happening, and that's me procrastinating because I said I didn't know what I wanted to talk about, and so here we go. So I hope that this helps you guys. Find me on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all under The Mind of Reese. Love you guys. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day.